Hey there, fabulous audience. I've got an exciting story that will leave you hooked from the start. To ensure you don't miss a beat, follow me on my backup channel for all the upcoming episodes. The link is conveniently placed in the comments box below. Thank you so much for your support, and let's dive into this adventure together.
Duke Edgar, please spend the night with my daughter, and you would see she is an excellent choice for your wife. A bold mother pushed her daughter towards the Duke as he passed by them. All eyes were on the three of them, as Duke Edgar was the main topic for the night. I wasn't aware your daughter started working in the red light district. I am not looking for a wife there. Duke Edgar stepped to the left to pass the disappointed mother and daughter. He had only arrived less than 3 minutes ago, but this was his second encounter with a mother and daughter looking to win over his favor. Ever since it was announced he was looking for a wife, this was happening. The culprit behind the rumor was none other than the scheming king, who had nothing better to do than ruin the life of his friend. It was no surprise the women had accepted the bait and pushed their daughters to try and catch the Duke as their husband. Duke Edgar Collins was the only son of his father and sole heir of countless lands. He lived similar to that of a king, and thanks to his connection to the king himself, nothing was impossible for Edgar. He was said to be a cunning, dangerous man, but when money came into the equation, his history was long forgotten. Duke Collins is here, a young woman whispered to her companion as Edgar walked into the Baron's home. This is going to be a pain in the ass, Edgar sighed, already knowing how the night would end. Countless offers to take the young women who were just finished learning what it meant to run a household would be the death of him. The heat from their desire to find a husband quickly made the place hot and uncomfortable. A nice cold drink was needed to relieve him of the hot temperature. Edgar had no idea why he agreed to attend the Baron's party. The Baron, Desmond Barrett, owner of a failing household, was a man he never cared for. Edgar couldn't figure out why a man on the brink of bankruptcy would throw such an elaborate party. Was the man looking to speed up being kicked out of his own home? Duke Collins. The man himself appeared. The Baron approached Edgar with his hair tied into his usual ponytail. He wore a black and white suit Edgar felt matched the man's hair, black with specks of white here and there. Edgar didn't miss the way the Baron announced his name like he was a young girl making her debut at a ball and was coming down the stairs. Baron, he greeted the man. It was so kind of you to visit my home to attend my party, Desmond said, pleasantly surprised to see the Duke. He was a nervous wreck from all the questions being thrown his way from guests who had only come to see the Duke. Desmond made sure to spread the news the Duke would be at his party. Save it, Baron. You know why I'm here. Unlike the king, I am yet to believe you have the information I'm looking for. Edgar was looking for any lead for the case with the young women disappearing. Desmond sent a note claiming to have information and wished to speak with the Duke here. However, Edgar quickly saw through his ploy. Of course I know why you're here, but it would be rude of me not to offer you a drink first, Edgar. Forgive me, but you seem to be sweating quite an awful lot. Desmond looked around, wondering if his house needed more windows opened. I am not here for a fucking drink, let me tell you. Edgar grabbed the Baron's neck, not caring about the crowd watching his every move. I might have a lot of time on my hands these days, but I do not like when it is wasted. If you have called me here as entertainment for your guests, I will see to it you hang, first thing in the morning. I'm sorry, Desmond cried as his feet started to dangle from being lifted off the ground. He heard the Duke was a monster, but only thought of it as a joke. Desmond tried to gulp, but Edgar's hand was too tight around his neck for him to complete the action. Sorry. Edgar tightened the grip around Desmond's neck. That sounds like you're confirming you have no information for me. It wouldn't take too long for me to break the neck of such a slender old man. Is this entertaining enough for your guests? He whispered in the Baron's ear. Desmond felt the hairs on his body stand tall as Edgar's cold breath blew against his skin. I have information. I swear it. It's upstairs. Good boy. Edgar spat, narrowing his eyes at the Baron. Why did you wait so long to say that? Did you wish for me to kill you? No, Duke. I should have brought it right away. Forgive me. Can you put me down before everyone thinks you are in the wrong? I don't want them to get the wrong impression of you, Desmond stated. But what he really meant was he no longer wanted to be embarrassed about being strangled at his own home. Of course. Edgar released the small man. I will need space to be alone until you return. Someplace outside for me to smoke. The garden has been made off limits, so no one would be there. But my daughter wishes to have a moment with you. If you could only spend a moment outside with her, I would appreciate it. Do I look like a shooting star to you, Baron? Edgar looked down at the man due to their difference in height. Shooting star? I do not understand, Edgar. How could you be a shooting star? Desmond was completely puzzled. That is what I am trying to understand from you thinking I would grant your daughter's wish. Run along and bring what you have for me. Yes, sir. Edgar made a mental note that this would be the last house call he did under the king's orders. The Baron was nothing more than an opportunist, using others' names to get a crowd to attend his party. Before anyone else could make their move to introduce their daughters to him, Edgar picked a random direction to go in hopes it would be the garden. He had never visited the Baron's home before and, quite frankly, wanted this to be the last. Follow after him, he heard someone mutter behind him. Edgar pulled a cigar out of his coat pocket as he hurried outside. He knew the night would call for a quick smoke. As he found his way out of the Baron's home, the cold air nipped at his skin, almost threatening to go back inside. Instead of going back inside, Edgar lit his cigar as he would rather be outside in the freezing cold than back in the house where he could feel the heated gaze of young women. I should have brought 2 coats. Passing by the stairs where he was standing, Edgar spotted a young woman hurrying off somewhere as she hugged a coat to protect her from the cold. That's a little thin to protect you, isn't it? He made his presence known. The woman halted, seemingly shaken up due to the fact that someone had caught her wandering around. The party is inside. I am very much aware of that, Alessandra. Why are you tensing up like I wasn't supposed to know your name? Who else would be wearing a mask in the Baron's home, except for his rumored cursed daughter? After a moment of silence, Alessandra finally spoke. Are you scared of me? No. There are scarier things in life, darling. Why should I be scared of you all because of a mask? Edgar blew out smoke into the air. It's going to kill you if you don't stop. Alessandra didn't need to turn around to see that he was smoking. The scent reached her nose, and she found it to be disgusting. Good. It'll speed up the process. Are you scared of me? He asked, after she had not once looked around to see who she was speaking to. "I am not aware of who you are," she replied. "Right. I am Edgar Collins. Just Edgar would be fine." "The Duke?" Alessandra's eyes widened. She never expected such a man would be here. She thought her father was lying. "They say you are to be married. Is that why you're here? You are here for my sister?" "I would rather die. No offense," he added, as that was her sister. "None of the young women in there shall be my wife. They are all like matching dolls in a set." "What about me? If I were to ask you to marry me, what would you say?" Alessandra nervously waited for his answer. "What none of you seem to understand is the sole fact you would be setting yourself up for a loveless marriage if I were to pick you. I was never interested in marrying anyone yet, but the rumor was passed around," Edgar said. "What if I don't want you to love me?" Edgar chuckled. Most marriages these days didn't start off with love, but then someone started to feel the emotion. "It cannot be guaranteed you wouldn't expect love." "What about a contract?" Alessandra proposed an idea. She was desperate and wanted to use him to get out of her father's home. "Did your father set this up?" It was the only plausible scenario for Edgar. "My father has no idea that I'm out here speaking to you, Duke Edgar. I have told you the party is on the inside. No one was supposed to see me passing by. My father won't be pleased to see you here with me," Alessandra replied with the honest truth. Not many people could say they often saw the Baron's daughter, since Desmond kept his daughter out of sight. Alessandra wasn't of any use to him, thanks to the mask she wore and the rumors surrounding her. "Everything I say right now has nothing to do with my father. I leave it up to you to believe me. I am not interested in marrying anyone for love. I only wish to leave this place and never look back." "What is it? Your father has plans to marry you off to a man far older than you? Or is he just shipping you off somewhere so you do not wish to go? Has to be something drastic for you to ask a man you don't know to marry you." Edgar pressed his cigar against the stone wall to end it. "It is suffocating to be here. I'm forgotten by my own father. I do not care for your looks, Duke Edgar, nor your money or anything else others might want. Frankly, I only see you as an escape." She explained her reasoning for choosing him. Their meeting was completely unexpected on her side, but Alessandra didn't want to leave without proposing what she had in mind. "I've heard my family speak of how the king wishes for you to get married. For a man who does not wish to have any romantic relationships with anyone, I might be a good choice. I will live quietly like a ghost, taking care of what you want of me, and I shall never love you." "Is that so?" For once in his life, Edgar did not find her words unbelievable. Still, he wasn't looking to entertain the idea of being married to her just yet. "It isn't hard for me to find an actress to play the role of my wife." "If it were so easy, you would have done so already," Alessandra said, seeing through his bluff. He most likely needed a wife who would make sense to the king. "If the king has done this to toy with you, choosing a wife like me will certainly make him regret this." The corners of Edgar's mouth lifted. "You are quick on your feet. This is why I keep telling my peers not to believe rumors. It's been said countless times that Alessandra Barrett is just a timid girl who freaks out and runs away when spotted by someone. You are said to be a monster, but you sound human to me. I do what I must to survive here. If you do not wish to do a contract with me, I shall leave you be. Alessandra took one step forward and then waited for an answer. When Edgar did not respond, she took another step, thinking the man did not want any plans in what she was offering him. But then, he surprised her. Meet me at my residence tomorrow. We will further discuss this there, and then I will give you my answer. Alessandra turned around in a haste, almost making herself fall. She was surprised because he was actually contemplating it. But it was even more surprising that Edgar wanted her to meet him at his residence. I don't leave here. I gathered that from you sneaking around. It is a test for you. I want to see how determined you are. I'm sorry to end our conversation here, but I have stayed at your home longer than I wanted to. It was nice chatting with you, Alessandra. Hopefully we shall see each other soon. Edgar turned on his heel to go back inside to find her father. Alessandra began to panic as she thought of how she would meet with the Duke tomorrow. At least he seemed to be taking her seriously, unless he would have a crowd waiting to laugh at her for believing he would marry her even with a contract. We shall see each other tomorrow, she promised. Duke Edgar, who are you speaking to? Kate Barrett, the younger daughter of the Baron, stepped outside. She heard the Duke was all alone and thought to give him some company. Seeing the Duke walking away while her father's daughter was standing outside made her blood boil. Kate thought highly of herself. She used her looks to elevate her position amongst her peers. She was identical to her mother with blonde hair and blue eyes. Two things she believed made her more beautiful compared to everyone else. Dressed like a doll, Kate was hoping to have a word with the Duke and catch his interest. She begged her father to have a moment alone with the Duke, but Alessandra had stolen it away from her. I hope she did not offend you, Duke Edgar. She was not meant to be out here. Kate glared at Alessandra, warning her to run away. Edgar stopped right beside Kate. She has not offended me, not like your father has. Thank goodness. It might be due to me being an only child, but shouldn't you be referring to her as your sister, or at least by her name? Edgar quickly picked up that the younger girl did not like the older one. Seeing the Duke speaking to her sister, Alessandra used this chance to run away before any of them would ask her to speak. She wished Kate would have stayed inside rather than come out. Now that Kate knew she had spoken to the Duke, all hell would break loose tomorrow. Edgar listened quietly to the sound of Alessandra running away, while Kate tried to think of a good answer to what he had asked her. He wondered what Alessandra was so afraid of when it came to Kate. You are correct, Duke Edgar. It has to do with you not having any siblings. When siblings argue, we tend to do petty things. But I love my older sister. As you can see, she is extremely shy and can be awkward. That is why I was concerned she might have offended you. Kate put on her mask of being a good sister. She would do anything to make the Duke see she was a good person. There was no one else she saw worthy of being her husband. If that makes you sleep better at night. Edgar proceeded to walk away after Alessandra had gotten far away. If only he was in her position and not the one stuck with Kate. You know, Duke, I was hoping for some time alone between the two of us. I wish to show you that I can be an excellent choice for your wife. Kate followed behind him, gripping his arm to slow him down. Edgar sighed, annoyed with Kate, who could not take a hint. The Baron and his wife raised her to be like a spoiled princess. Fortunately, he had experience with an actual spoiled princess to know how to handle Kate. Is there some misconception that I am looking for a wife who can only please me in bed? He smacked her hand away. If anyone were to see them like this, rumors would quickly spread. He did not feel the need to add another rumor to the long list he had. I'm sorry. Kate was caught off guard by him denying her advances. There were plenty of men who would jump at what she was doing for Edgar. You visit the red light district. Edgar shrugged his shoulders, not seeing what that had to do with his future wife. Who is to say I do not go there to read a book? It is awfully loud there. I work better when there is a lot of noise around, but please, enlighten me. What do you know of how loud it is? Edgar grinned, enjoying the sight of Kate realizing her mistake. What on earth would the Baron's daughter be doing there? Unless you are listening to the gossip of what others do there. No. You are misunderstanding. Kate tried to clear it up right away. She had never visited such a place. Understand this, Kate. What you are doing will never entice me. Besides, I've received a better offer. Excuse me, Edgar stated before leaving Kate behind, both utterly confused and embarrassed. I got caught, Alessandra muttered, leaning up against a tree now that she was far out of sight from Kate and the Duke. She knew the affection Kate held for the Duke and should have known Kate would have come looking for him. Alessandra hoped Kate heard nothing of what she spoke about with the Duke. Kate was evil enough to spread what she heard about the contract to her friends. Please don't let that be the case. Alessandra wished she could have stayed to hear what the Duke and Kate were talking about. She had to consider the fact that Edgar could tell on her at any moment. From what she had heard about him, thanks to Kate's big mouth, he didn't seem like a man to joke around and make a fool of someone. He would not have invited her to his home if he was not serious about this. Alessandra could only hope she was right. Before leaving for her destination, she took a deep breath, pushing any negative thoughts away. She would worry about everything else tomorrow, but as of right now, she was insanely hungry. Her food had not been delivered, and by this time, she did not expect to receive it. This was either Kate's or her mother's doing. Alessandra stepped away from the tree, running towards the back door of the kitchen. She took a look behind her to make sure she wasn't followed this far before she opened the door. What she heard when she opened the door was nothing but confusion. Servers running all around, trying to get the food out to the guests. This was a whole other world compared to what everyone in her father's hall was experiencing. Mario? Alessandra called for the cook as she maneuvered her way through the chaos. No one seemed to realize Alessandra was in the kitchen, as they were all lost in their job. Alessandra preferred that they did not notice her. It's a bit bland, don't you think? Alessandra! Mario, one of the three cooks, said upon laying eyes on her. Cover for me. I won't be long, he told another cook. Follow me. He took Alessandra's hand to lead her back outside. The Baron's wife had been popping into the kitchen once in a while to ensure everything was running smoothly. The last thing he wanted was for a member of the family to see Alessandra here. No one came by my room to deliver food, she told him the reason why she came here, though knowing the risk. Mario closed the door behind them, releasing Alessandra's hand now that they were outside. It's that witch's fault. Just a month ago, they were laying off all the cooks and some of the other workers. Now they have this party, and there's not enough of us to handle the job. What are they thinking? Duke Collins is looking for a wife. Haven't you heard? Mario scoffed upon hearing this. So that's the reason. Did they throw a party just for Kate to meet the man? I can only imagine she is like a fly bothering him right now. I've spoken to him. Alessandra spoke in a low tone. The Duke? About what? Mario did not see any reason for Alessandra to meet with such a man. He heard many stories concerning Edgar. There are many bad stories about him. There are many stories about me and this mask. Do you believe them? She asked, although she knew the answer. She was in no position to listen to rumors about others when the ones about herself were false. Mario went silent, as he had most definitely heard what people said about Alessandra. He had not seen her face at all, as she never took off her mask in front of him. But he didn't believe she could cause anyone to die just by looking at her face. Of course not. Then I shall give the Duke a fair chance. I can't tell you what I spoke to him about, but I will say I am hoping for some good news. Alessandra rested against a broken wall and looked out in the direction she had come from. Is this concerning your escape plan? I hope the Duke can help you run far away. It's a shame you can't go on your own because of the young girls disappearing. Mario went to the wall to sit beside Alessandra. I hope the culprit is found and the girls are still alive, Alessandra said. I overheard your father claiming to know something about it when I went to deliver his coffee. I was hired to be a cook, but they have laid off so many people that I am now a maid. It would be good if they paid me for the extra work. Mario angrily kicked away a stone. Alessandra watched as the stone rolled away. When I leave, you should come with me. You've always been kind to me, and I wish to return the favor. That is nice of you, but I owe the Baron for the money I borrowed. I have at least 1 year until it is paid off, and then I will come to find you. You are the only Barrett I can stand. I don't know what went wrong with the others. If not for Alessandra, he would have thought the entire family was unbearable. I don't know what went wrong with my father. Mario, I need a favor. Well, two. I am not close to the coachman, but you are. Can you speak to him about taking me somewhere tomorrow without letting my family know about it? He might be scared of me and run away before I could speak to him, Alessandra said. Mario was the only person she spoke to like this, as he did not believe the rumors about her killing people after they saw her face, or the rumors of her actually being a ghost. That won't be a problem. I take it this trip has something to do with the Duke? I am wary of him, Alessandra. Even if you don't want to believe in rumors without knowing the person, there are some things you need to keep in mind and be cautious of. Mario was not a fan of Edgar. I will listen to your advice and be cautious. I always walk around with my trusted knife. She took a small knife out from the pocket of her dress. Mario had stolen it a while ago and gave it to Alessandra as protection. If he tries anything with me, then bang! Mario stared unimpressed at the way Alessandra held the knife. Be reminded you are holding a knife, not a gun. What is the second favor you need?
Mario!
Someone from inside the kitchen yelled. Food, please. Alessandra innocently smiled. Right away. I must get it before they kill me for being away for so long. He got off the stone wall, dusted off his pants, and then opened the door to go back inside. While Alessandra patiently waited for him to bring some food, she tapped her finger, following the rhythm of the faint music coming from inside the home. It was a song her father loved so much that he played it at every party he hosted. She closed her eyes to imagine what it would be like dancing around to the music, having small talk with others, and enjoying the food prepared. If only she did not have to wear a mask, and the rumors surrounding her didn't make everyone back away in fear when she showed herself. After a good amount of time had passed, Mario returned with a plate of food and a jug of something to drink. "I got you a little bit of everything," Mario's voice interrupted the moment. Opening her eyes, Alessandra was met with the reality that she would spend the night alone with a kitten she recently found. They would both listen to the music in the comfort of her room as they ate and then fell asleep. "What's the matter?" Mario asked once he saw she was kind of in a daze. "Nothing, just thinking about life." Alessandra took the food and jug from him. She didn't want to keep him outside for much longer. 3 hours more to go, and then there will finally be peace. "Alessandra, it'll get better soon. The rumors, the way you live, the relationship you have with your father, everything will get better one day," Mario reassured her. "Are you trying to give me that whole rainbow at the end of—" No. Mario stopped her from repeating the ridiculous phrase he hated. "When was the last time you saw a rainbow in Lockwood? For the time I have spent in this town, I have never seen one. Let's say there'll be happiness when the next shipment of rum comes in." "Mario," Alessandra shook her head. There was a high probability of Mario drinking already, even though he was working. Anytime he mentioned rum, he had been drinking some. "What? It makes me happy. What do you think is making me bear the work we have tonight? I wouldn't waste rum on those guests. They'd prefer the wine anyway. I slipped you something nice." He patted the jug, which was now in her hand. "You will get to enjoy the night with this." "I don't get drunk easily." It was thanks to Mario slipping her drinks and their drinking moments that she realized she had a high tolerance for such drinks. "Just enjoy it. You don't have to be drunk to enjoy it. I'll see you tomorrow, okay?" He went back inside without waiting to hear anything more she had to say. He was already in hot water for leaving the kitchen for so long the first time. "Okay," she replied. Alessandra looked down at the food and drink before taking one final glance at the kitchen door. Time to head back. She quietly strolled back into the direction she came from. The talk with Mario was enough to brighten up her mood and give her the extra confidence she needed to believe that her meeting with the Duke tomorrow would work out in her favor. She was going to get married and live away from her family.
All of them are so rude. Why can't they get their own drinks? Just get your own drinks if you don't like the way I hold them.
Alessandra listened intently to a maid walking in her direction, criticizing the guests. The maid must have been so angry that she was looking back behind her to raise her middle finger there more than watch where she was going. "You shouldn't be so loud," she warned the young girl. "Alessandra!" the maid gasped, taking steps back out of fear. She felt like she was going to die when she glanced at the black mask covering the majority of Alessandra's face. "Please don't hurt me." "Hurt you?" Alessandra looked down at her hands. Unless she was going to start a food fight, there was no way she could hurt anyone. When would everyone start to think logically instead of believing rumors? "I'm just doing my job. Don't kill me." The maid covered her eyes with her hands as her body shook with fear. Had she gone the other way, she would not have run into Alessandra. The maid feared that just seeing the part of Alessandra's face that wasn't covered by a mask was enough to kill her. Unbothered, Alessandra continued to walk in the direction back to her bedroom. she was trying to help the maid by telling her to keep her voice down when talking about the guest. Alessandra wholeheartedly believed Katrina had some kind of magic to hear when anyone was bad-mouthing her guest from a mile away. It wasn't once or twice she had caught someone bad-mouthing her or her friends from far away. Alessandra had a theory. The woman was not from this world. Maybe she fell from the sky. She pondered on her theory. It was possible. Alessandra passed the area where she had stumbled upon Edgar, going to a door on the opposite side of the home from the kitchen. It led her to a room filled with gardening supplies, and on the inside was another door, taking her out to an empty hall. Her father did not enjoy his guests wandering around the house, other than where he had marked the party to be, in order to avoid gossip about the smallest thing. Alessandra skipped and twirled now that the music was louder. All she was missing was a fancy dress and her partner. "You're playing better music now." To the left of where the party was going on was Alessandra's room. The hall to her bedroom was slightly dark, as the fire in the lanterns was dying since no one came to check on them. Still, that didn't bother Alessandra, as she placed the jug on the floor to have one hand free to open the door of her room. She was greeted by a faint sound on the inside. "Kitty." Alessandra looked down at the orange kitty she'd found. "I told you not to come to the door. If someone else saw you, they would have taken you away. Do you wish to leave my side?" Alessandra used her right foot to gently nudge the kitten back inside of her room when it tried to run outside. Her father, unfortunately, was only a lover of dogs and would not be on board for a cat in the house. "It's safer here. And I brought us food." "Why does it seem like you have started to understand what the word food means?" she asked as the kitten sat still, looking up for her, awaiting its meal. "Here, enjoy a piece of meat." She placed it on the floor. With the kitten distracted and the door closed, Alessandra went to her desk so that she could also eat something before her stomach would make a grand entrance. She placed the plate and jug on the desk first, and then took a seat. All alone in her room with the kitten, Alessandra took off her mask to be free. There was no one here to speak of what her face looked like, and no mirrors in her room for her to see her own face. The mask was set aside, and as she listened to the faint music creeping its way into her room, Alessandra ate in silence, waiting for the day to soon end so that she could speak with Edgar sooner.
My lady, breakfast is here.
Alessandra tossed in her bed, hearing someone's voice outside of her room and the 3 knocks that followed after. "How on earth is it morning already? I was just eating dinner," she grumbled, stretching her body as she woke up. Alessandra stared at the ceiling when she opened her eyes. Today was the day for her life to possibly change.
My lady?
"Kate's here," Alessandra realized. Normally, the person who delivers her food would just knock and leave quickly out of fear. This person was practically begging her to come to the door, which meant there was someone out there impatiently waiting. Kate's curiosity about what Alessandra spoke about with the Duke must have been bothering her all night long. Alessandra was tempted to make the person wait longer until she finally retrieved the breakfast, but today was not the right day to piss off Kate. She needed to play a role in order to leave. "I'm coming," she called back to let them know she heard them. As Alessandra sat up, she took the sleeping kitten from a pillow beside her and left the bed to place it in her closet for it to hide. She closed the closet door and then went to her desk to put on the mask she wore last night.
My lady?
Try Try to make it less obvious you're being pressured, Alessandra thought once she heard the maid stutter. With the mask tied, Alessandra approached her door and unlocked it. Your breakfast, the maid said with her head down. Alessandra looked down at her breakfast, which wasn't in the maid's hands, but placed on the floor. Thank you. She went down to pick it up herself, but as her hands neared the floor, a shoe appeared from the left to pin down her left hand. Good morning, sister. Kate appeared from the sidelines, just like Alessandra predicted. Alessandra winced from the pain of Kate's shoes on her knuckles. Good morning, sister. Run along, Kate ordered the maid. She was highly annoyed that she had to wait outside of Alessandra's bedroom for so long. If only she had the spare key her father took away. Did you have fun last night, Alessandra? Yes. Yes? Kate became furious with how bold Alessandra was. Just because you ran into the Duke, you think you had fun? Not that, Alessandra stuttered. I had fun in my room last night. The music reached my room. Is that so? Tell me, what did you discuss with the Duke last night? Kate needed to confirm with her own ears nothing serious had happened between the Duke and Alessandra. It would be embarrassing if he took more interest in the thing in front of her. I did not notice he was standing there as I was going to collect my dinner. He called out my name as I forgot to address someone as important as the Duke. He scolded me, and then you arrived. That is all. Kate pressed her shoe against the back of Alessandra's hand harder, not fully believing the story. What else? He spoke about getting married and you as an option. Nothing more, I swear, Alessandra cried out from the pain. Kate lifted her foot. It made more sense Edgar would speak about her, but why on earth was he playing so hard to get last night when the two of them walked back into the party? Of course, he would speak about me. Who would want to talk to such a freak? That doesn't make any sense. The Duke still talked to me. Alessandra rolled her eyes. Thanks to her looking down, Kate could not see her facial expression. Still, it angers me that you showed your disgusting face to the Duke. What if he were to believe he is cursed and come to take his anger out on us? What will you do then, you freak? Do you think you'll be safe, that Father will shield you? Kate pushed her shoe against Alessandra's hand again. No, Alessandra whimpered. Then stay in your bedroom. Kate! Desmond exclaimed upon seeing his youngest daughter hurting his oldest. Stop it right this instant. But, Father, she... Kate trailed off, realizing there was no use in denying what he clearly saw. The Duke saw her last night and they spoke. Desmond looked down at Alessandra, surprised to hear she was seen by the Duke. What on earth did the two of them talk about? Why didn't the Duke mention anything about it? I will take care of it, so leave. Kate stomped her feet on the floor, similar to a toddler who couldn't have its way. Had the maid got Alessandra to open the door quicker, she would have left before her father showed up. How annoying. She left Alessandra's doorway. Alessandra's hand trembled out of pain, but she felt relieved Kate was gone for now. Even with the pain in her hand, Alessandra took up the tray of food to take back to her room. Alessandra, sweetheart. The Baron inched closer to his quiet daughter. Can you tell me what happened between you and the Duke last night? Why were you out of your bedroom? You know there was a party. No food came last night and I was hungry. The garden is off limits, so I thought I could run by quickly. That is all, said Alessandra. Desmond understood that, but Still, this was the Duke they were talking about. Many people believed the rumor about her cursing someone and making them die, all because of a coincidence. What did you talk about? Alessandra kept her head down low and said, he only wanted to make sure he could smoke there, and talked about Kate as a marriage candidate. Really? Desmond's eyes lit up at this. He was worried Kate had not seduced the Duke last night, but now it seemed she had an effect on Edgar after all. That man is so strange, he probably wants to observe her a little longer. This is good. Edgar was someone Desmond needed to help him crawl out of the debt he buried himself in. It wasn't easy to live as grand as he used to, with his finances decreasing over the years. Kate finding a rich husband was their only hope. Still, you should not have gone out. What if I would have changed my mind and taken a few people out there? So I should starve? Alessandra thought. I'm sorry, Father, she replied. Fine. There's absolutely no point in scolding you. Whoever did not bring your food is to blame. I'm sorry about what Kate did, but she's just looking out for us. Edgar is someone who can easily ruin us, said Desmond. He was worried, but since Edgar mentioned nothing, meant that Alessandra had not offended him. You must be bored in your room all the time. What is it that you would like to pass the time? Name anything, and I shall fetch it right away. Since you asked, I have run out of things to paint. I wish to paint the town. Can I ride around in the carriage to see places to paint? I won't get out, I promise. Desmond placed his hand on his hip, as this wasn't something Katrina would agree with. However, if they kept Alessandra locked away, she would try to leave her bedroom more. It was best to give her a little bit of freedom. After what Kate just did, he had to do something to make it up to her. Promise me you won't leave the carriage. I promise. Alessandra grinned. Her father was unable to see it because her head was still being lowered. Collins Estate. Young master, I have brought your breakfast, the butler, Alfred, said as he entered Edgar's study with a tray. He found it odd that Edgar was not seated at his desk as he normally would be. Instead, Edgar was peering out his window, which had a clear view of the entrance of his home. Alfred placed the tray down on the desk and straightened it out before turning around to see if there was anything else Edgar would need. Unfortunately, it did not seem like Edgar realized he was even there. Young master? Alfred called out again. Good morning, Alfred. Edgar looked away from the window to Alfred standing behind him. Thank you for breakfast. Are you expecting guests? Should I prepare breakfast for them or have drinks prepared? Alfred figured that was the reason Edgar was staring out the window. The only person Edgar did this for was his mother, but it wasn't due to him being excited about her visit. Instead, Edgar did this to see who was tagging along with his mother so he would know to abruptly leave home. I am honestly not sure. I gave her the invitation, but it is not certain she will arrive unless she's truly desperate. Edgar went back to looking out his window. He was curious to see if Alessandra really would visit him. She was never seen out in public, so her coming all the way here to make a marriage contract with him was intriguing. A woman visiting? In broad daylight? Alfred was utterly surprised. Edgar frowned, turning to look at Alfred once again. What are you trying to say, Alfred? That I'm some kind of whore? Yes. Alfred bowed. Edgar couldn't believe Alfred had answered honestly. Had it been anyone else, Edgar would have sent them out. But Alfred was a longtime friend and father figure. I am not. Please refrain from saying such a thing if the guest is to arrive. She might become the lady of this house. What? Edgar had to hold onto the desk to stop himself from falling. Edgar stared unamused at Alfred's dramatic reaction. Why are you acting like it's such a surprise I would get a wife? After a brief moment, Alfred recollected himself since he needed to get the truth. Your exact words when the king suggested you marry were, I am never fucking getting married. I would rather jump from the roof and die. Maybe I misinterpreted those words. I apologize. Alfred, I sincerely believe I inherited my dramatic nature from you. I am not interested in marriage, but the woman I met last night was intriguing. A perfect way to piss off the king and ward off some people from around me. I do not understand, said Alfred. How would the lady coming piss off the king and ward off others? It will be self-explanatory if she arrives today. If a Barrett comes to visit me, let them in. Not the father, Edgar added, since he could not stand the man. Barrett? Is it Kate? Alfred spoke softly. She wasn't what Alfred had in mind to be Edgar's wife, nor did he see how intriguing she was. Did you drink at the party last night, Edgar? No, I only had a quick smoke break, Edgar replied, leaving the window to see what Alfred brought him for breakfast. Smoke? Excuse me, I shall check all your cigars. Alfred bowed, ready to leave the room to check Edgar's supply. What the fuck for? Edgar looked to Alfred for an explanation. If you find Kate Barrett to be intriguing. Are you crazy? Edgar stopped Alfred in his tracks. The Baron has another daughter. Alessandra Barrett is the older one. Oh, thank goodness. Alfred held his chest and sighed. You are aware of the rumors concerning her, right? Edgar believed Alfred shouldn't be so relieved yet. Anyone is better than Kate in my book. If that younger girl were to become your wife, I would finally retire after 40 years. We are not so sure Alessandra will even arrive. When was the last time you... A knock at the door interrupted Alfred. Alfred excused himself to see who had come to see Edgar. He opened the door to find a maid, seemingly scared, handing him a paper before going back to her duty. Alfred closed the door as he read the paper. It appears we are in for a surprise. Alessandra Barrett wishes to have an audience with you. Edgar was pleasantly surprised to hear she had arrived already, or even that she came at all. Invite her to my study. Yes, young master. Alfred bowed, then proceeded to do as he was told. Stop bowing so much, Alfred. You are not a priest, Edgar said as Alfred left the room. Alessandra Barrett. What an interesting person you are. Edgar wanted to judge if the Baron truly had nothing to do with Alessandra wanting to get married. Their meeting wouldn't have been that coincidental had he told the Baron he was going out to smoke and then Alessandra magically appeared. The only thing making Edgar believe this might be a coincidence was the Baron not sending his younger daughter. Meanwhile, Alessandra exited the carriage her father gave for her to ride around for the day. Luckily, Mario had spoken to the coachman, and nothing about this visit was to be mentioned to her father. If the coachman showed any signs of betraying what he promised, Alessandra didn't mind playing into the rumors about herself to threaten the man. This is huge, Alessandra commented as she looked around the entrance of the Duke's estate. It was no wonder why he was the biggest catch to get married to. The man was filthy rich. Good morning, she said as armored men walked past her. Good morning, they replied in unison. Alessandra was surprised they had not flinched when they looked at her mask. At least the guards here are not afraid of stupid rumors, she thought. Moments later, the large doors of Edgar's home opened up, revealing a man in butler clothes. Welcome, Alessandra Barrett. The Duke is expecting you, Alfred greeted the young woman. He did not react to her mask, and made sure not to stare at it, since the action would be rude. He made a mental note to tell the other workers to do the same. "Good morning. It's nice to meet you," Alessandra said as she approached Alfred. She held out her hand to properly greet the man when she stood in front of him. Alfred shook her hand happily. It was rare for many of Edgar's guests to greet him like this, but Alessandra did it without a second thought. "Come, I shall lead the way." Alessandra felt unable to breathe when she entered the Duke's home for the first time. The Duke appeared to be a collector of many paintings Alessandra wished she could get her hands on. The home was painted in white, with countless famous paintings around. She was amazed by the interior of the home, but once she realized how much she was ogling at it, she cleared her throat and just looked ahead to where the butler was taking her. "I'm sorry, I did not get your name," Alessandra said after she noticed she had not asked for the butler's name. "Alfred," he replied. "Nice to meet you, Alfred." Alessandra smiled. "He isn't here." Alfred knocked on the door and then opened it for Alessandra to walk in. He did not know how Edgar and Alessandra got to the point of wanting to marry each other, but Alfred was starting to like the young woman. "Thank you," Alessandra told Alfred before entering the room. She felt her heart skip a beat when the door closed behind her, and Alfred had not come in behind her. "I wasn't expecting you to show up, but if you did, breakfast time was not my guess." Edgar sat at his desk, watching her every move. He began to inspect the type of person Alessandra was. "Was I meant to come in the night as a thief would?" Alessandra responded without thinking. "I suppose coming at night would have made my men think you were a criminal. Take a seat." Edgar pointed to the free chair on the other side of his desk. "I am extremely curious to know how you were able to leave your father's home when it is said you would never leave. Did you play a trick on your father, or did he let you out willingly?" As Alessandra was taking a seat, she digested Edgar's words carefully. "I am not working with my father. In fact, he would never allow me to visit this place. He would even call me crazy for thinking you would ever invite me into your home." "Does your father hate you?" Edgar bluntly asked. There was no point in beating it around the bush when what they were here to discuss was serious. Alessandra thought about it before giving her answer. "I don't think my father hates me. He is ashamed of me. Who would want a daughter with a reputation like mine in a world like this?" "It is a parent's job to love their child no matter what. It's a shame you were born as a baron's daughter. You would have been loved elsewhere." To Edgar, it was only people with wealth who cared to distance themselves from someone, all because of reputations. "If I were the daughter of farmers, they would have rightfully cast me aside to sell their crops." "Why would something so drastic happen to a farmer's daughter for her to end up wearing a mask? Whatever you are hiding, it was done because you are a baron's daughter, right?" asked Edgar. "High society is quite competitive." Edgar was well aware of the things young women do to each other they were jealous of. Alessandra was no doubt in the line of someone's jealousy. Yes, Alessandra gave up, since he was right. It all happened due to her being a baron's daughter. "Someone must have been really jealous of you, Alessandra." "Fine, let's say I believe this is all your planning and your father is not involved. Why would someone who has lived a vast majority of their life in hiding want to marry someone who has the spotlight on them?" Truthfully, me asking you about marriage was something that just slipped out of my mouth. I was looking for someone to get married to, but I never pictured that person to be as grand as you. I have considered 3 things, Duke Edgar. 1. You are a private person, so there would be no need for me to mingle with many people. 2. I can ward off people from coming around you. Lastly, you are capable of controlling my family, she explained. Before falling asleep last night, Alessandra thought critically of the benefits of marrying Edgar. If she were to bring someone below her father's status, her father and stepmother could easily push that person away, and Alessandra would have to stay caged up. Now, if a man like Edgar were to come asking for her hand in marriage, her father could hardly object to it. Her main objective was to get away from her home. It is true that I like to keep to myself, but there are a few parties I need to attend, whether it is hosted by family, friends, or work-related. Am I to show up without my wife? It would be boring if you hid all the time, said Edgar. He was not looking to have his wife be a prisoner. You are misunderstanding something, Duke Edgar. I never hid because I wanted to. I did what I was told to. I would love to go out and view the town, attend parties, and dance around. I might not have the experience, and my confidence might need to increase, but I do not wish to live in the shadows anymore. She looked right into his eyes as she made this confession. Alessandra did not care to mingle with too many people not important to Edgar. Instead, she wanted to go out and start enjoying her life. Edgar made a humming sound as he contemplated something. A week ago, I would have never entertained this conversation with you, but I'm in the mood to play games. He placed a piece of paper on his desk. What is this? Alessandra asked as she looked at the paper with fancy designs on the edges. A contract marriage needs to have rules and conditions, right? Edgar pushed the paper, a pen, and ink toward her. Let's get started. Alessandra's eyes widened as she realized he had officially accepted her proposal for them to get married. Isn't this a little too easy? I expected him to grill me some more, she thought. What are you waiting for? Edgar asked when she continued to stare at the paper without doing anything. Sorry. Alessandra reached for the paper and pen. She gasped when Edgar grabbed her hand before she could touch the paper. What happened to your hand? Edgar spotted a faint redness around her knuckles. Glancing at her other hand, he saw that it was perfectly fine. Did you punch something, or did someone hurt you? It's nothing. Alessandra pulled her hand out of his grasp. It is something, seeing that you will be my future wife. I don't take too kindly to someone hurting my people. Name the person and I shall have them punished, said Edgar. Now that they were going to be husband and wife, her problems became his. It was an accident, Duke Edgar. Just Edgar is fine. See to it that you do not have any more accidents while you are living there before we get married. Edgar decided to leave the topic for now, but he would get back to it. He didn't like the feeling he got as he thought about the life Alessandra had. I will try my best. Based on our conversations, no love shall be the first condition. It shall not be a problem on my end, Alessandra stated as she wrote down the first rule. I hope you are like this until the very end. Alessandra looked up from the paper to Edgar. He was a handsome man, but that was all. She knew nothing about him, and frankly, if she was not so desperate to leave her father's home, she would have never talked to a man like Edgar. You are not my type, Edgar. So, there is a type. Edgar, for some reason, wondered what kind of man moved her heart. I was hidden away, but I was not blind. What should the second condition be? Alessandra asked so they could move on from the love topic. Obviously, speak of this to no one besides my butler, Alfred. He shall be a shield for you in dangerous times. 3. We need to communicate any issues we have. Do not allow something small to grow and become big. It is irritating, said Edgar. I agree. Alessandra saw no issue in that. I must ask that I am able to keep my mask on until I feel comfortable walking around without it on. That is your business. Do whatever you wish. 5. We must sleep in the same room. Why are you looking so surprised? Did you honestly think I wouldn't sleep with my wife? Edgar tilted his head slightly as he awaited her answer. Alessandra thought they wouldn't share the same bed, but as he said, she would be his wife, even though a contract was involved. I suppose that makes sense. It is something couples do after all. Everyone does it, young or old. Edgar picked up a smooth rock from his desk to move around in his hand. Young? How young? Alessandra asked. Edgar only now realized she had misunderstood what he meant. Sleeping, Alessandra. I was referring to just sleeping. However, if you wish for something more... No, sleeping is just fine. Alessandra looked back down at the paper, feeling completely embarrassed for thinking he meant something else. Is there anything else? No, we've covered the basics. Anything else should be handled with communication in the future. You do not appear to be a difficult person who shall make things hard in the future. We can add on whatever we think of as time goes on. Sign it, Edgar reminded her. Don't you wish to add a punishment for anyone who breaks the contract? Alessandra thought he would fine her or imprison her if she were to break this contract. We have not set a timeline of how long we shall be married as well. The main thing on the contract is to not tell others about it. If you let it spread that we are married under this circumstance, it will hurt you more than I. I shall remain a duke, while others will go out of their way to humiliate you for needing a contract. I'm sure you don't want that. Alessandra shook her head, saying no. Lastly, we shall be married forever. I thought that was obvious, Edgar revealed to Alessandra's surprise. Be sure to add that to the contract now, as it is important. Forever? Alessandra muttered in disbelief. Forever was a long time. Was she wrong to believe he would only want to do this for maybe a year or two? Wasn't that what the people in the books she read did? Yes, forever. Do you plan to break your wedding vows? Till death do us part. Edgar grinned, enjoying the look of horror on her face. He only planned to get married once, which was why it had to be with someone he could tolerate. At some point, you will need an heir, she said. Did he expect that to happen with her? Of course. My wife shall be the mother of my child, but no need to worry. I am not in the mood to have a child running around my home anytime soon. Honestly, Edgar had a dislike for children. You wouldn't mind me having your child? Alessandra didn't know how she fell into this hole of confusion, but she would really enjoy Edgar's help to pull her out of it quickly. You're starting to annoy me by not understanding what is simple, Alessandra. But I guess it would be a shock for you. Yes, I wouldn't mind you having my child one day, Alessandra. If I did mind, we wouldn't be here discussing marriage. If this is too much for you, we can still ignore all of this. I'm worried what a child of mine would have to go through in this world. Others might attach the rumors about me to the child. Alessandra pictured it in her mind. She wouldn't want anyone to experience being outcasted. Alessandra, you are not aware of the weight my last name carries. Once you become my wife, those rumors would fade away, and no one shall dare talk about you or a child in the future. Edgar had his ways of making people shut up. If you rip out their tongue, you would find it hard to understand a word they say. Eventually, they would shut up. Alessandra did not need to ask Edgar how he could guarantee that would happen. There was obviously some truth to how dangerous he was. She had a feeling he was being considerably nice to her right now with the way he spoke. "We can carry on with the contract, Duke Edgar." She started to sign her name. Giving him an heir would not be a problem if she could shield the child. "Edgar," he reminded her once again. "Sorry, Edgar." "I predict it shall take you a while to start calling me by only my first name. I will come to visit your father tomorrow to ask for your hand in marriage. It is to make sure you do not have any more accidents where you hurt your hand." Edgar slid the paper from her side while she hid her hands. "Would you like to live with me until it is time for the wedding? It is not uncommon, though some people might think you're pregnant."
Absolutely not.
Alessandra exclaimed, as she did not want another rumor.
The list of rumors about me is good enough. I do not need to add on pregnancy so early.
Edgar scoffed, feeling a sense of déjà vu with her response. "Anyone who would believe I have gotten you pregnant before marriage would be an idiot anyway. Then again, there are rumors that I sneak women into this house at night."
Do you?
Alessandra didn't find that hard to believe, but she wanted the answer from his mouth since she rarely believed rumors unless the person confirmed it. Edgar pretended to be offended, to mess with Alessandra. His eyes went wide. He gasped and placed his hand on his chest. "I would never." Alessandra felt bad for even questioning it.
I'm sorry.
But there was some truth to the rumor. I didn't sneak the women in here. They jumped over the gates and my guards caught them. One person who heard about it passed it on to another until the story changed completely. Rumors are such messy things when they are about me. There are some moments when they help me catch criminals.
Right. He has been assigned to investigate cases under the king's orders,
Alessandra said to herself. I shall hide the contract somewhere safe for no one to find. Now that the contract is over, have you eaten? Alfred can bring you breakfast, or have mine. I am not ready to eat with the work I have to do. I would have been done already if not for your father and his lie. The Baron's party cut into his work time. The information he got from the Baron was not useful in any shape or form. It was something Edgar already knew about the missing girls.
I'm sorry. My father used your name to gain a few more guests, and Kate fancies you, which was why my father felt pressured to have you there.
Alessandra apologized, even though she had nothing to do with it. She cared for her father and did not wish to see his reputation falter. He loved it more than anything. After her mother ran away, it was the only thing he seemed to love until he met Katrina. Your father, stepmother, and sister shall not gain entry to my home after we are married. I am sure by now you know the type of people they are, and if you found them to be tolerable, you wouldn't be looking to marry a stranger to get away from them, said Edgar.
I don't mind.
Alessandra didn't want to see her family too much starting now.
I must leave now, Duke Edgar. I told my father I wanted a view of the town for me to paint, and if I do not return on time, he will be angry. I look forward to being married to you.
I hope my life becomes a bit more interesting with you around, Alessandra. Come, I will walk you out. Edgar stood up from his seat. He could hardly wait for the king to find out about the woman he was marrying. It would teach the man to stop meddling in his friend's affairs.
Thank you.
Alessandra accepted the Duke's hand when he came to help her.
You have a beautiful home. I am jealous of your paintings.
Do you enjoy painting? It was the second time he heard her mention painting. He did not necessarily care about the art. He only brought it because of his mother badgering him to add more to his home.
I do. It is relaxing and a fun way to pass time. It takes a bit of practice, but nothing will compare to the feeling when you finally nail the look you've been going for.
Alessandra was so focused on talking about paintings, she did not realize she was still holding onto Edgar's hand. Edgar did not mind it, as he liked listening to her speak so fondly about her hobby. Then I shall buy a couple of your works.
What? Why?
Alessandra choked up. She had never let anyone see her work for them to be able to buy any of them.
I am not a professional.
I should at least buy it from someone I know. I have no idea who the people are that made the art in my home. Pick out the best ones you have to be placed around my home. I shall let Alfred take down some of the ones I have placed up.
Are you crazy?
Alessandra asked without thinking. Why on earth would he waste money on her paintings and take down the beautiful ones he had up? No. My doctor said I am not crazy as long as I don't... Never mind. This shall be your home too. So you're free to decorate it as you see fit as the lady of this house. You should add pieces of what you like to make yourself at home, and I shall pay for it.
That makes sense,
Alessandra muttered, now understanding what he was doing. Shall I prepare an engagement ring for you, or is there no need for it? Alfred appeared beside Edgar at the front door. He stood with his hands behind his back, watching Alessandra leave in her carriage. Prepare the ring for tomorrow morning. We will be visiting the Barretts. Edgar left the doorway once the carriage was almost out of his property. Make sure no one speaks of seeing her here before then. Of course. Alfred closed the door behind Edgar. Should I also be the one to prepare the gifts for her family? Cigars from my collection for the father, some kind of jewelry for the mother and daughter, and paint for Alessandra. Lots of it. I need some of the paintings taken down as I will be buying new ones from Alessandra to be placed. Also take away some of the things in my chamber for her to have. You'll be sharing a room, Alfred exclaimed. Edgar paused to look behind him at Alfred. Why is that so shocking? She will be my wife, Alfred. Aren't you the one who taught me to follow tradition? Young master, nowhere in the tradition I have mentioned includes this type of situation. Did the young lady agree to sleep with you? I hope you mentioned that to her first. No, I mentioned that last, along with her being the mother of my children. Edgar continued, walking back to the study. Children? Alfred gripped his chest, unable to handle the information. You're being dramatic again, Alfred. Edgar refused to turn around to check on Alfred. I have work to do. If anyone else shows up, turn them away. Don't ask me any more questions, or you will eventually add too much stress to your heart and die. Do you wish to die, Alfred? No, young master. I wish to see these children you speak of. I will get to it right away. Good. We're about to have some fun, Alfred, said Edgar. Meanwhile, Alessandra nervously sat in her carriage on the way back home. The situation dawned on her once she was away from Edgar and able to breathe normally. She pinched herself to be sure she wasn't still dreaming and had not woken up for the day. I'm going to marry Duke Collins, she said in disbelief. Who would have thought her asking him in the spur of the moment would lead to this? Who would have thought he would go along with it? I'm almost out of there. Today would be her last day dealing with her family. After Edgar arrived tomorrow, neither Kate nor Katrina would be able to interfere with her. They could get upset with her for being the one engaged to Edgar and not Kate, but they couldn't lay a finger on her. She would be Edgar's woman, and he was a man to never offend.
I wonder what Father would say. Will he finally show more interest in me?
Alessandra leaned her head against the wall as she thought about tomorrow.
He might try to convince the Duke to marry Kate instead. Oh, tomorrow will be a chaotic day.
She closed her eyes, enjoying the peace while it lasted. As the carriage returned home, Alessandra wasn't surprised to see a figure standing with his arms folded by the door. Her father knew his wife wouldn't be pleased about her leaving home, and Alessandra had made sure to leave before Katrina could stop her. First Kate, and now it was Katrina's turn. When the carriage stopped, Alessandra opened her door herself, since everyone was afraid to get too close to her. She kept her head down to avoid looking at Katrina as she walked to the entrance of their home. "Good morning, Katrina," she greeted the woman as she neared her. Katrina, on the other hand, did not return the greeting. "Your father must have lost his mind to allow you to leave home. Do the two of you wish to sully this house even more? What would others say if they were to learn that you were riding around amongst them?" I did not leave the carriage, Mother." "Do not call me that. How many times must I tell you that I am not your mother? Your own mother ran away and left you here to be raised by your father. I am not going to do her job for her. Neither you nor your father seems to realize what I have to put up with a person like you. I made it clear you should not be seen." Katrina was furious to learn Desmond allowed Alessandra to leave without consulting her. "Do you not understand the trouble you caused for us, Alessandra? Our reputation almost hit rock bottom because of that incident. Never ask to leave this place again, or I will see to it that you may never leave your bedroom. Just the sight of you infuriates me. Why on earth couldn't you have followed your mother?" I'm sorry," Alessandra apologized with her head still low. "Get back to your room. Your presence drains my mood, and I am tired of seeing those masks. I cannot wait for the day you shall no longer be here. I hope you enjoyed your day out, since it will never happen again." "Ridiculous," Katrina muttered, turning her back on Alessandra to leave. Alessandra touched her mask, making sure it was still in place.
She speaks as if they weren't a part of why I wear it.
One of the things Alessandra hated was how she had to act timid around her family. She found it best to pretend to be that way and take their scolding, but having to be that way was irritating. The second thing she hated was Katrina's need to constantly bring up her mother who ran away from her marriage. Katrina was speaking based on what her husband wanted her to hear, and not the entire truth.
"It'll all be over soon,"
Alessandra said to cheer herself up. It was unfortunate the day might go by slowly now that she really wanted tomorrow to come quickly. A lot could happen before it was time for Edgar to visit her home.
"Stay out of sight."
It was the best thing to do in order to avoid more accidents happening. Edgar might have already picked up someone who had hurt her hand, but Alessandra did not want to involve him in her family affairs and drama. She was well aware he could punish Kate for her, but she did not wish for that to happen. Alessandra wanted to give her family the life they dreamed about, a life without her in it. Involving Edgar in it would only cause too many problems. It was best to cut ties with her family peacefully, as she did not hold a grudge for the way she'd been treated. Alessandra hurried back to her room to avoid running back into Katrina or meeting Kate again. However, upon reaching her door, she was puzzled to find it slightly ajar, as if someone had been inside of it after she left. It could have been Katrina confirming that her father allowed her to leave. That was what Alessandra hoped, But her anxiety increased, seeing Kate standing by her window. "Kate," she called out to her sister. "Oh, you're back already? In time to witness the fun. My mother said we were not allowed to have pets. Imagine my surprise when I saw this little creature in here." Kate held up the kitten Alessandra had been feeding. She was holding it outside the window, prepared to drop it right before Alessandra arrived. "Kate, I will take care of it. Please do not harm an innocent creature." Alessandra took careful steps forward, wishing to take the kitten before Kate could do the unthinkable. "You irritate me, Alessandra. Father was mad at me for what happened this morning and for not being able to talk to the Duke last night. It's all your fault, Alessandra. Remember that." Kate threw the kitten out the window against a nearby tree and peered down to see it fall. Initially, Kate had only meant to drop the kitten outside the window for it to wander away. But seeing Alessandra back from her trip made her furious. If she could, she would have taken it somewhere higher to drop it. "I never told you to— Hey!" Kate yelled when Alessandra ran out of the room instead of listening to her.
Please be all right.
Alessandra chanted in her head over and over as she ran outside to check on the kitten. Kate reached a whole new low today for hurting such a small animal, all over a conversation with the Duke. No one would believe Alessandra if she were to say what Kate had just done due to her jealousy. They would focus on the fact she was hiding a kitten when Katrina hated having pets around.
Why is she running around?
Alessandra ignored the whispers from the maids as she ran by. This was supposed to be her last day. Then she and the kitten would go live with the Duke. Why were things already going wrong?
No.
Alessandra teared up, finding the kitten trembling down below the tree Kate threw it against. It was so young she knew it wouldn't be able to survive this, but she was hoping for the best. She got down on her knees to try to help the small animal.
"Kitty, I'm here."
Her eyes filled with water, hearing the kitten cry out and shake out of pain.
"What do I do?"
Alessandra asked herself.
"I don't want to hurt you any further. This is my fault. I should have hid you better or taken you with me. We have to take you to someone for help."
Alessandra gently scooped up the kitten in her hand. There had to be someone who would be able to help her. Her father should be able to pay for someone to help since this was Kate's fault. Alessandra hurried back inside in search of her father.
"Hang in there, Kitty. I will get rid of the pain. Have you seen my father?"
Alessandra asked a passing maid, but the young girl looked away from her to avoid looking at her face and refused to answer.
"Where is he?"
she yelled out of frustration. The maid flinched, taken aback by Alessandra's loud voice.
"He's not here. The Baron left a long time ago." "Why are you yelling at a servant? Have you lost your mind after your trip?"
Katrina heard the commotion as she was heading in the other direction.
"What is that thing in your hand, Alessandra? I made it quite clear I do not want pets in this house. Fix this."
Alessandra showed Katrina the kitten.
"Kate threw it out my window. It just needs to be looked at by a doctor, and then I'll find a new owner." "You want me to believe that my daughter did this? Why was it here in the first place? Throw it out. It already looks dead." "Your daughter did this. For once in your life, hold her accountable for what she's done."
Alessandra refused to back down this time. It was all right for them to hurt and pick at her, but the kitten was an innocent, defenseless creature.
"You insolent child."
Katrina walked up to Alessandra and slapped her in the face, almost knocking off the mask she was wearing.
"Never speak of my parenting."
Alessandra wasn't fazed by the slap, as she expected it, but she wasn't going to take back her words. Kate did many horrible things, but in everyone's eyes, she remained an angel, while Alessandra was called a witch, demon, ghost, and more, all because she wore a mask. Alessandra started to laugh, since life was nothing more than a joke. The action caught Katrina off guard, and the maid thought Alessandra had truly lost her mind. "This house is frustrating," Alessandra muttered after she stopped laughing. None of them was going to make up for what Kate did. They didn't have the heart to feel sorry for the kitten. Her father was not going to go up against Katrina and would agree to get rid of the kitten. "This is pointless," Alessandra realized. She felt stupid for thinking anyone here would be able to help her, but she was so concerned for the kitten that she forgot the type of people she lived with. There was nothing she could do for the poor kitten right now. She had no money to run away and find a doctor. And upon seeing her mask, no one would let her into their business. The only thing she could do for now was to tend to the kitten. And when the Duke arrived tomorrow, she would give him the kitten for him to help it. "Are you not going to apologize for your rude words, Alessandra?" Katrina had been patiently waiting for Alessandra to say sorry like she always did, but it was taking too long. If her husband had given her permission to raise Alessandra as she saw fit, they wouldn't be stuck with her. Katrina had a plan to send her off somewhere to live alone. A relative had a small farm, which would have been perfect for Alessandra. There was also the option of marrying her off to someone who did not care about the rumors and just wanted a woman to bear their heirs. "There is nothing for me to apologize for." Alessandra turned around to go back to her room. The Duke would be the only one to help the kitten. She needed to spend less time interacting with Katrina and Kate, and more time tending to the kitten's needs. "You there," Katrina called to the maid. "Take that thing and throw it out, or you will be fired."
What?
The maid did not see why she had to get involved in the feud the Baroness had with the young woman. Alessandra was already angry and could curse them at any point in time. "I made my order quite clear. Either you throw the animal in her hand out, or you will be out of a job. Do it now." Katrina folded her arms, waiting for the maid to do her dirty work. That's why they were paid to do it anyway.
My lady."
The young maid turned to Alessandra. She was scared of both Alessandra and Katrina, but her job was on the line. "Touch me or this kitten, and I will kill you. Mark my words," Alessandra warned the maid. She did not care about anyone getting fired if she did not hand over the kitten. The kitten was her main priority above anyone else. "You are threatening our servants now? Good. You have officially lost your mind. I will make sure to inform your father of this. As your last order," Katrina looked at the now fired maid, "inform the butler that Alessandra is to be locked in her room. No one is to interact with her, and no food is to be sent to her room until she has learned her lesson. Be sure to collect your last payment while you do so. It will be cut for you not being useful." "Get out of my sight, both of you," said Katrina. Today would be the last day she took any disrespect from Alessandra. Katrina had a mission to get rid of Alessandra, whether it be sending her away, marrying her off, or even poisoning her if needed. Alessandra's rumors affected her husband's reputation, along with the ones about his last marriage. She would help him by cutting away that last thing from that marriage. Alessandra hurried away from the scene, still not caring about what Katrina ordered the maid to do. She'd experienced having little to no food and being locked away in her room too many times for it to no longer be seen as punishment. Katrina had granted her blessing without realizing it. She wanted to care for the kitten without anyone interrupting her. Until the Duke arrived tomorrow, she wanted to be alone.
Hold on till tomorrow, little one. He will come for us.